What's going on, guys and gals? Kendall here with Renos for Pros and Joes, helping you simplify the renovation and remodeling process. And on this channel, we do hands-on product tool and gear reviews, as well as renovation tip and strategy videos like this one. So if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. So today I'm going to be showing you 4 different ways to strip Romex wiring. And so before we go any further, for those who are unaware or unfamiliar, Romex wire is the most common electrical wiring. And what I have here is a small remnant of wire, and most of it is going to be color coded. And this yellow wire with this particular setup with 3 wires visible in it, this is a 12-2 wire. And so frequently when people are running circuits and things like that and pulling wire, you're going to have to strip down a portion of this wire in order to make your connections for your wire nuts, as well as when you're going to be connecting your switches and outlets and things like that. And so that's typically where you find yourself having to strip the Romex. Otherwise, when you're just pulling wire, you're essentially going to be cutting straight through the Romex in its entirety and leaving it prepared to be tied into something else. And before we go any further, I'm not making recommendations, I'm just showing you ways that people conventionally strip Romex wiring. We're going to start with the way that you can do it with the most basic tools that you may already have, and then we're going to slowly progress up to a more specialized tools. So let's jump into it. So the first way that you can strip Romex wiring is with a razor knife. This is not a recommended way for doing this because you have to be so delicate with it in order to make sure that you don't nick the metal. But I did want to at least show you that it is possible to do that. So typically you're going to be taking the blade and make sure that it's sharp, and you're basically just wanting to score the outside layer of that plastic sheathing, and we're wanting to peel it back to the point that we need it. And so I've cut back a very small portion here. In a real application, you would want it to be a little bit further down than that. And then now that I've got it there, I'm going to simply use my razor knife here to kind of score around the base of that piece and tear it off. And so that is what you're going to want to do if you're going to be using a razor knife. Once again, I'm not saying that this is a recommended way to do this. This is just a way that people do it. Some people do it. So there you go. As you can see, we've cut through the Romex. Now remember that the title of this video is not the best way to strip all electrical wire. We're just concerned right now today with how to strip the Romex, which is the sheathing on the exterior. There's specialized tools that are very easy to use and very commonly used in electrical work to strip these black and white wires. And so that's a topic for a different day. So this is the first way to do that, is with a razor knife. Okay, now that we've reset, I'm going to show you the second way to strip the wire. And that is with something like a pair of Needlenose pliers. And we're going in order of the things that you're most likely going to already have in your possession if you own some tools. And so the first thing we're going to do here is going to essentially be to try and start peeling away a portion of that coating, like so. And so we're peeling it down to get it started. Peeling. And so that's going to get you started. And then you can essentially pull that wire down to close to where you need it, and then flip your needle nose pliers over and then go back and clean up the portion that you've left. Okay, so there we go. Same thing. So this is option number 2. Okay, so now we're back down to our wires again, just like in the previous option. So the third option is to use some type of electrical wire stripper like this. This is an electrical tool, and it's specifically designed for stripping the wires that are inside of the Romex. So one thing that you can do is try to carefully pinch just the Romex sheathing and kind of tear away at it like that. See, I've torn away a little piece there and I've torn it. And then you would essentially want to tear around the base of the location where you want to strip from. And then there you've got your 3 wires ready to go. So that's option number 3. So I've shown you 3 options so far, and each one of those options works well or can work well if you're in a tight and you specifically have a very small amount of Romex stripping to do. So if you're going to be doing more wire stripping, or you're an electrician, or you're someone who works with wiring or Romex on a regular basis, you may want something that's going to allow you to work a little bit more quickly. And that is where our 4th option comes in. This is also an electrical tool. This is a set of more heavy duty and specialized electrical pliers. And the thing about this set of pliers, and I'll show you before I open them up, is that it's got numbering on there. So if you look there on that side, you can see, hopefully you can see, that it says 14.2. Underneath the 14.2, it has 12.2. And so that is indicating the size of the Romex. And so we already established that we're working with 12.2 today. So I'm gonna take my Romex and put it in here in this 12.2 slot and just turn it back and forth. And that's it. There we go, guys. Same thing. I think we can all agree that this technique is much faster and much less likely to cause you issues. The main issue that you run into when you're doing, or if you're using the razor knife, is trying to make sure that you don't nick the wire, because that can cause an electrical safety hazard. And then you could potentially run into the same type of issues when you're going to be using your Needlenose pliers or your electrical pliers and you're trying to tear and strip away at the sheathing, because you don't want to nick it in places that you didn't intend to do so. So this is obviously going to be the safest method. I will have a link to this specific tool in the description box below. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.